every day we come closer and closer to the general elections in the UK, at which the people will go to the polls and decide which is the next representative of the ruling class that's going to walk into Parliament on their behalf. Now, I couldn't help but notice the great deal of support that exists for Jeremy Corbyn among socialists, who should not be supporting Jeremy Corbyn. Now, this seems to be a thing that you really have to remind First Worldists of very, very frequently. There is no real choice in the system. Jeremy Corbyn is not offering you socialism. Thus, if you are a socialist, you should not be voting for him. If you're a liberal, or some kind of liberal Democrat, or so-called democratic socialist, a thing that doesn't exist, is called social democracy, then it would make perfect sense for you to vote for Jeremy Corbyn. You see, as socialists, we are supposed to be carrying out revolution against the bourgeois state. Thus, voting for someone in that system, from the First Worldist perspective, makes no sense, as the system is not legitimate. So if you're going to stand there and say capitalism must be destroyed, why would you vote for someone who says, whose job it will be to ensure capitalism to continue? Like, you see, this kind of is like a completely contradictory thing here. It doesn't really make much sense at all. It makes you really wonder why these people are voting for Jeremy Corbyn at all. Because in the end, part of the third worldist line is that first world people don't want revolution. Even the people who claim to be socialists, even the people who claim to be, radical Marxists, still don't want, generally speaking, a revolution. They do only want nice, soft democratic reforms. That's why Bernie Sanders was so popular among American Marxists, because he was offering them the goodies that they want without having to do a revolution. They're willing to discard the whole class warfare thing. They're willing to just completely discard, imperialism as an issue, as long as they get their $15 an hour minimum wage, as long as they get their free college, as long as they get their free healthcare. They are perfectly willing to sell out the proletariat of the third world, who will still continue to die under U.S. bombs, yes, even under Bernie Sanders. The same thing is true with Jeremy Corbyn. Now, Corbyn comes off as more leftist than Bernie Sanders does sometimes, but does that really matter? He's still offering the nice, safe, democratic reforms, the nice benefits that people of the UK even used to have, but with none of the promise to get rid of capitalism. In other words, these two men symbolize the bribe that's given to first world people to take them away from the possibilities of revolution. And I don't think that's too controversial to say that. I think that's rather obvious at this point. It should be like, if you've ever read Reform or Revolution, that's right. That's right. What's in there? You read any third worldist works. That's right where it is. Even read Lenin on the Second International. He even warned against that. That's what social democrats do. So that's what social democracy does. They just end up offering goodies and benefits to the people of the advanced countries so that they don't do revolution. So it even goes far back as Lenin. And yet, again, here we see people lining up to vote for Bernie Sanders because he's going to give the benefits that they want, so they won't have to do revolution. Now, to preempt a criticism that's going to be thrown, even though I've explained it like 20 times, I have advocated in the past voting for the NDP in Canada because of their anti-war stance. I don't believe that they'll go into the anti-capitalism. That's not the point. The point was to vote tactically against Canada's role in imperialism. That would be the difference. We're voting to get one particular little thing, and even then I don't even really believe in doing that anymore. But that was the motivation behind doing it, was to try to at least alleviate some of the pressure that's placed on the people of the third world. Whereas the people who vote for Bernie Sanders or Jeremy Corbyn are voting to get benefits to hinder the ability to build revolution. Of course, this relies on the assumption that revolution is possible in the first world. But I did just want to explain the difference between those two things, because somebody will bring it up, even though they are obviously two very different things. But in the end, first worldists really do need to give up on this great social democratic hope that appears in every country, whether that be Bernie Sanders or that be Jeremy Corbyn, because there's always going to be one guy who's going to be let through, who's going to offer all the benefit, all the free stuff that will take, what is supposed to be a revolutionary potential away from first world people. And watch for that to come from Tulsi Gabbard now that Bernie Sanders has fully integrated himself into the Democratic Party. So on the whole, if you're going to stand for revolution, if you're going to claim to be a Marxist, if you're going to claim to be a communist, stand with revolution and not a bunch of democratic reforms that is going to deliberately take yourself and the population of your country away from doing radical Marxist action. In other words, doing the communist revolution. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.